Hello, and welcome to the Office of Fellowships general presentation about applying for external fellowships and scholarships at George Mason University. My name is Dr. Lenitra Berger. I'm the Senior Director of the Office of Fellowships. Today I'm joined by two of our staff members who will also introduce themselves, and then we'll go off camera to give you a presentation and overview of the office and the resources available. Christina, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Christina Medlock. I am the Graduate Professional Assistant for the Office of Fellowships, and I'm one of the primary contacts using pgfs@gmu.edu for any initial questions, comments, or concerns, and that way we can start our fellowships journey.
Thanks, Christina. Daniel, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Daniel, or DT Schotten. I am the personal statement specialist for the Office of Fellowships, and I work with Mr. Zachary Barnes as well. And I am more than excited to begin working with all of you. I will be working with both graduate and undergraduates to improve their personal statements.
Great, thank you both. So today's presentation is basically designed to give you an overview of the office, the resources available, and how you can contact us. We do have a YouTube channel where we have other presentations that cover specific areas, specific types of fellowships, such as international fellowships, STEM awards, and public service awards. And we continually update that YouTube channel. So please keep checking for additional information sessions and other events that we have. Okay, so what is the Office of Fellowships? Ordinarily, when we're not in a pandemic situation, our Office of Fellowships is located within the Office of Undergraduate Education, and the physical location of that office is on the second floor of the Johnson Center. During COVID-19 and during the 2020-2021 academic year, we are working remotely for the entire rest of 2020. That means that all of our meetings, presentations, and info sessions and events will be held virtually. We use all of the university-sanctioned platforms such as WebEx or Zoom. We also do email as well as phone meetings. So we're fully operational, we're just virtual. So the Office of Fellowships helps high-achieving students and alumni apply for scholarships and fellowships, develop leadership skills, understand graduate school options, find programs according to your academic interest, be they internships or study abroad, and prepare for careers. So all of the other bullet points under applying for scholarships and fellowships are designed to help get you prepared and competitive to go through these scholarship and fellowship applications. Many of these awards have a 6 to 9 month time frame for application, which means that if you start an application in March, it's usually due in September or October, and we're working with you for that entire time to pull together all the different aspects of that application. This is our team. As I mentioned at the beginning, my name is Dr. Berger. I'm the Senior Director of the office. Ms. Christina Medlock, who introduced herself earlier, is the Graduate Assistant. She is your first point of contact in the office. So if you are interested in a particular award or making an appointment, she is the person who manages the pgfs@gmu.edu address. And when you contact her, she will take down some information from you through an intake form, and then she'll use that information to decide what the next step is for your particular award. Zachary Barnes is our Senior Personal Statement Specialist. This is his third year with our office. And he is an MFA candidate in the English department, and he works with us to help students with their essays. And as Daniel Schotten mentioned, Daniel, or DT, is our newest addition to the team. We're excited for Daniel to be joining us. And Daniel is also a personal statement specialist who works with students on different awards. So the two personal statement specialists are divided up and have different responsibilities depending on the award. And that's why it's really important for Christina to get to know who you are and what you're interested in applying for, so that she can make sure that you're referred to the correct person. And I'll say here and again later that Daniel and Zachary only work through referrals from our office. So please do not look them up and contact them directly for meetings. We need to understand your eligibility and competitiveness before we refer you to one of those two. So who do we serve? We can help you if you are a current undergraduate student applying for awards. There are all kinds of awards available from anywhere from your freshman year through your senior year. We help graduate students who are anywhere from master's degrees at the beginning to finishing up and looking for funding for research for your PhD. Undergraduate alumni can apply for various awards through our office. So after you've graduated, if you would like to apply for a specific fellowship, you can come back and work with us. And the same with graduate alumni. We work with graduate alumni through the office as well. So these are some of the available resources, and we've broken this down by what's available for undergraduates versus graduate students. Those two student populations have different needs, and so we serve them differently depending on what type of award you're applying for and what your individual needs are. So we do student advising on fellowships. So we let you know what the opportunities are available to you, what the timeframes are, how to prepare for those, and how those opportunities fit into your long-term goals. We offer specialized info sessions and workshops with funding organizations. We offer fellowship essay writing assistance through the personal statement specialists. And we offer interview preparation. Many awards have a multi-stage process. So you turn in the first part of the application, and if they like that part, they'll invite you for an interview. And we can help you interview and prepare for those interviews. We can do this either through one-on-one appointments or through arranging mock interviews, depending on what the opportunity is. We are also teaching a class through the UNIV program. That course is for graduating seniors who are applying for scholarships and fellowships. That's kind of a capstone course in the Office of Fellowships. So that's by invitation only, because you have to have applied for a fellowship before you get to be a senior to be eligible to take that class. And in that class, we do a lot of specialized work on fellowship applications, but also on graduate school applications. For graduate students, we also provide many of the same services, only tailored to the needs of graduate students. So we can talk to you about specialized opportunities at the graduate level, depending on the type of grant you're looking for. There's some opportunities that allow you to go overseas and get specialized language training. Others help you to complete your thesis work. Others support professional development. So we can talk to you about all those opportunities. Again, we also have specialized info sessions. We're very fortunate that we have many of the program officers and funding agencies like to either come to campus or to join us on Zoom to talk specifically about the opportunities that they offer, what you need to do to become competitive, and what the application is like. And these are really important sessions because you're hearing directly from the funding agency what they need. And this is invaluable in helping you to understand how to tailor your application for that specific award. Along those lines, we also do workshops with funding organizations. So last year we did a workshop specifically on graduate school personal statements. We also do workshops, for example, for the Fulbright program. So after students have been working on their applications throughout the summer, we come together at the beginning of the semester and we do a special workshop just on writing those essays. So it's not an info session, it's a focused workshop that looks at what you should be doing to get your essays competitive. Again, we offer the same types of fellowship essay writing assistance that we offer to undergraduates. And we also provide interview preparation for graduate students as well. I want to say at this time that just to distinguish what we do from the Office of Financial Aid, we are mostly focusing on external awards. So we do not have any knowledge or ability to help with financial aid that you might be receiving from the university or internal scholarships through Mason. So that's handled by the Financial Aid Office or other offices, not by our office. So just to make that clear so that you understand that distinction. accessing our resources is a three-step process. So the first thing to do is to email the pgfs@gmu.edu email address. That will send you to Christina. You can email that address and just say who you are, what your name, your major is, what fellowships you're interested in, or if you don't know, you can just say, I'm generally interested in fellowships. Christina will then respond by sending you an intake form that you can complete that will give us a better sense of not only what you're interested in, but what you're competitive for. And then after speaking with her, she'll determine what the next steps are. For some awards, if you're obviously very competitive and have already been doing the research and work, we may refer you directly to a personal statement specialist. In other cases, you need to meet with me to talk more about your interest and your goals. So this is the process for getting access to the resources. It's very important that you don't email me directly because I am working with so many students and the volume of emails that I receive. I don't want to miss your message and not be able to serve you. So it's really important that you follow this process. There are a couple of different types of appointments and meetings, and it's important for you to be aware of these different types of meetings so that you're prepared for each of those meetings. We have advising appointments. Again, these are all virtual in 2020, so we'll ask you what type of meeting you prefer, if you want to do Zoom or phone. I like to mix it up. Some meetings I take by phone and others I take by Zoom so that I'm not on Zoom all day, and you might feel the same way. These advising appointments are designed to help students determine their eligibility and competitiveness for opportunities. So with these appointments, we're really trying to learn, do you have the qualifications and the ability to complete one of those applications in this year? So we'll be asking you lots of questions about your interests in fellowships, what you already know about fellowships, what your goals are, what have you been doing at Mason to prepare to achieve these goals, and all of this information will help us to advise you on the types of opportunities for you. Sometimes you may not be eligible for something, and then we'll let you know that right away so that we don't waste your time. Sometimes you're competitive for an award, but maybe not right now. Maybe it would be better for you to wait a year and take some more language classes, develop your leadership skills, study abroad, do an internship. And the next year, you would be really, really competitive for an award. In some cases, you're only eligible to apply for an award one time in your academic career. And so we want to make you aware of that eligibility so that you can actually avail yourself of that opportunity. So that's what these advising appointments are for. Initial meetings are about 15 minutes long. We're really just trying to get that initial information, understand what your background is and what your goals are, and really that helps us to think through what opportunities are available to you. Then a follow-up meeting might be a 30-minute meeting that would be specifically about an application. So if we determine that you're eligible and competitive for the Critical Language Scholarship, for example, then we would have a follow-up meeting where we would talk specifically about the different components of that application and what you need to do to develop that application and prepare it for submission. Another type of meeting would be a follow-up meeting after you complete the 30-minute meeting to start working on the application. So if you've been working with your application for a week or two, maybe you have a problem contacting a faculty for a letter of reference, maybe you have a question about your essay, that's what counts as a follow-up meeting. That's a meeting where we'll really troubleshoot, or I can answer questions or make sure that you're on the right track. These advising appointments are broken down in this way because we do serve a very large student population and we are a small office. And so for us to be able to serve all students in the ways that we would like and to make sure that everybody has access to resources equally, we really stick to these meeting times to make sure that we can fit everybody in any given day. The next type of appointments are meetings with personal statement specialists. So once we understand what you're going to apply for, we will refer you to the appropriate personal statement specialist. Again, all of these are virtual meetings. Each one of them has office hours that they set up. So we will connect you by email. They will send you the office hours, and you'll work directly with them to set up an appointment. The first meeting with them is to talk about the award, why you're interested, why you're qualified, what kinds of things are you thinking about discussing in your different essays. And then they will work with you to set up a deadline schedule. This is a really important part of the process because that allows you to be accountable to both yourself and to the personal statement specialist in developing drafts and getting feedback. So in the first meeting, you'll set up a set of deadlines, and then you'll begin writing the drafts. And subsequently, after you've done that, you will then have additional 30-minute meetings to review your drafts. Sometimes they take a little bit longer, sometimes they take a little bit less time, but 30 minutes is what we're aiming for each of these meetings. And we do set limits on them. Usually we have between 5 and 10 meetings with applicants to complete an application. And again, that's to make sure that you are really utilizing your time with the personal statement specialist wisely, and that you're doing the work that you should be doing in between drafts. So now, this is usually a question that I get from a lot of people is, what counts as a competitive fellowship? And so these awards are usually awards in which the national prestige of the award outweighs the monetary value. And the awards have a multi-step application and or nomination process. So many of these awards come with some funding to do something, either to study abroad, to do an internship, to study a foreign language, to do a research project, to study for a graduate degree, and they will give you some amount of money to cover those expenses. But the value of these awards is not in that monetary amount. The value is in the network, in the opportunity, and in the prestige of winning an award like this. So these awards actually put you in places that allow you to access people, additional resources and opportunities that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to access. And through that, you can continue doing your work. I'll take this time right now to mention that our Office of Fellowships is a social justice oriented Office of Fellowships. And that means that what we are doing is really reaching out to underrepresented students who don't typically see themselves as competitive for prestigious fellowships. And through that, we want students to understand that fellowships are a means to an end. So fellowships are not the end in themselves. So you're not applying for a Gilman or a Gates Cambridge or a Truman Scholarship simply because you want to be a Truman Scholar or a Rangel Scholar. You're applying for these awards because they're going to help you do something that will ultimately benefit a lot of people in a community or in society. So for example, the Boren Scholarship, we want students to think not just about what the Boren Scholarship will do for you, which is help you acquire foreign language skills, but rather we want you to think about what having those language skills and having that time abroad will help you do to serve a community. So if the Boren Scholarship will help you to become fluent in Russian, how will your fluency in Russian help you serve a particular community in a particular way? And that is very, very open-ended. So that could be in a national security context. That could be in an arts context or a literature context. It could be in the context of social work or another form of community service. So it is not by any means meant to be a narrow definition, but it is meant to show that our office is really focused on fellowships as a social good, as a way of helping students, particularly those from underrepresented backgrounds, to have access to these opportunities and to do something socially valuable and enriching with those awards. So if you look at this list, you'll see that some of these names may sound familiar to you. Usually the awards that I work on have some sort of name attached to them, like Boren or Rangel or Truman. And they are also funded primarily through a federal agency or a government. So, those that are not are funded through foundations, like the Gates Cambridge is funded through the Gates Foundation. but the vast majority of the other awards are funded through the United States government, or in the case of the Marshall Scholarship, the British government. So these are usually federal opportunities that support research, study, foreign language acquisition, or time abroad. By multi-step application process or nomination process, that means that these organizations and funding agencies expect us to have additional vetting of candidates before they get to their desk. So they want us to do some of the legwork to help them. And that means that they want us to do the recruiting. They want us to make sure that we are certifying that students have met all the requirements, that they understand the importance of the award and the value, and that they are in fact competitive for the award. So for the Truman Scholarship, for example, there's a nomination process, and we can only nominate 4 undergraduates plus up to 3 transfer students every year. So that's only 7 people that we can nominate in any given year, which means that we have an internal deadline of November 15th. And we do campus interviews of all applicants who submit by that time in December. The final deadline for the Truman Scholarship is the first Tuesday in February. So there's a multi-step process that we go through to determine who we should nominate for these awards. Sometimes if you're not nominated in a particular year, it's possible that you can reapply the next year. And we will share the specific deadline schedule and nomination process with you when you inquire about an award. So now that we've talked about what these awards are, why should you apply for one? Applying for fellowships gives you a lot of different skills, and it can help you achieve your goals. It can give you additional funding to help you with your studies or your interests. Many students are interested in study abroad, and many of these opportunities support study abroad. It bestows a level of distinction on you and the faculty members in your institution. And as I was saying earlier, this is not an end in itself for applying for an award, but this type of award will give you access to larger and larger groups of like-minded people who are interested in public service or leadership or academia. And that this is in itself an important next step for you as a student and as a young professional. These awards also provide additional credentialing. And by credentialing, I mean that it gives you yet another layer of people saying that you are competitive, that you are interested and committed to your field of study, and that you're ready for your career or for graduate study. The process also helps you develop very strong relationships with faculty, since they have to write letters on your behalf, and it really takes a lot of skill to manage all of these letters and really make sure that you know a lot of faculty who can speak strongly and compellingly about your awards. And then finally, through the process of writing an application, you strengthen your essay and critical writing skills. So an average successful application, meaning that somebody wins the award, takes between 10 and 15 drafts. And you really have to think critically about yourself, why you're applying for the award, who you are, who you want to be, and why is this award the right opportunity for you. That takes a lot of introspection, and that's a very important skill to develop. So some of the general benefits of applying for fellowships include, again, getting funding to be able to do what you need to do for graduate school or for careers. Language fluency is something that is important and that we underscore in this office. We want you to understand that being fluent in the language is the best way to be competitive for jobs and study. You'll gain an advantage in terms of applying for jobs in graduate school. And many of these awards, such as the Gilman Scholarship, also provide you with non-competitive eligibility status in the federal government. So you literally do have a leg up in the application process for jobs. You also get important skills like how to be flexible and adaptable, particularly in the COVID environment. There's a lot of change to the rules. There's a lot of uncertainty, and yet it's still important to put yourself out there and apply for these awards. You'll develop discipline-specific skills. So if you're in the sciences, you'll be doing some kind of research that will allow you to be competitive for your awards. Again, those could be language skills. They could be skills related to, you know, the arts. But these are all discipline-specific skills that will help you. And then finally, you know, the ability to engage with people from different backgrounds, to be able to have the chance to study or live abroad for up to a year through many of these awards really helps you to see yourself in the world differently and really sets you apart from 99% of all other applicants. So to prepare for success, these are just a few tips that we have for you. These are things that we want you to think about before you come to our office. So developing a vision for your academic career. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do at the end of your time at Mason? Try to fast forward and take a look back and say, when I'm finished with Mason, what are the top 3 things that I want to make sure that I've done? Is it an internship? Is it study abroad? Is it doing a research assistantship? What are the things that are most important to help you move through your time at Mason? Excellent grades are crucial. It's very important that you maintain a high GPA. Now, I'm going to say that, and then I'm also going to say that if for some reason you've had some B's or C's on your transcript, don't worry. Please let us know, and we can talk to you about opportunities that are still available to you. It's not the end of the world if you don't have a perfect GPA. We can help you think through those issues, but you know, what most fellowship organizations are looking for when they're looking to evaluate candidates is that you're taking harder classes every year, that you're challenging yourself, and that they see what they call an upward trajectory in your performance. So a lot of people stumble at the beginning of their academic career. It's hard to get adjusted. There's a learning curve. But are you getting better? Are you improving? Are you challenging yourself? That's really what they're looking for. So we can always look at your transcript and tell you, you know, what we think about your grades and how competitive you really are. You'll need to learn how to manage your time. Applying for fellowships is very similar to taking a class. There is some time investment. And because, as I mentioned before, our office is small. We're small but mighty, but we also need to manage our time. And so it's very difficult for our office if someone starts an application, gets halfway through, and then decides, oh, I'm too busy, I don't want to apply for this. That application doesn't get evaluated by the funding agencies, and that's really time lost for our office. So it's important that you learn how to manage your time in general, but it's very important that you do that in the fellowships process. And because of our structure, because of our personal statement specialist and our graduate assistant, we have resources built in to help you do that. So it's really important for you to trust the process and trust that we know what we're doing in terms of being able to support you. You want to develop good relationships with your professors and mentors. They will be writing letters for you. That includes any of your employers, your internship supervisors, any sports mentors, community mentors, and your professors. Make sure that you visit their office hours virtually. Make sure that you stay in touch with them after the courses are over. You'll want to participate in leadership activities, and leadership is very broadly defined. It's very specific to your circumstances and your goals. So for some people, leadership means literally participating in student government. For others, it's community service and community activism. Yet for others, it's leadership in the laboratory, in the sciences. So really taking charge of an experiment or a project and making sure that it reaches completion. So define leadership and look at what leadership means in your particular area, and then really look at how you can step up and serve as a leader. So the way to think about it is, you know, what are some things that only I can do? What are ways that I can take a step forward and really move a project from start to finish in a way that other people can't? You want to be curious about your field and your community. Fellowship organizations are looking for curious young people. They're not looking for people who want to tick off boxes or add something to their resume. They want to look for people who are willing to learn, who are interesting, who want to have conversations, who are fired up by things, who are bothered by things, who have things that keep them up at night. They're looking for people with that type of curiosity. And that can be about your field. That can be about things that you don't know about, that you want to learn about. It can be about your community. But they want to see that spark of curiosity. And that's what we'll also be looking for as we're evaluating your competitiveness. And then finally, you want to be willing to take risks and experience failure. The vast majority of people are not going to be able to be successful in a lot of awards. Some of these awards have a 99% rejection rate. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't apply. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take that risk and put yourself out there. It's through the experience of failure that we learn more about ourselves and we learn how to improve. And I have many, many students who have applied for awards, sometimes multiple times, and been rejected 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, and eventually get the award. I have some students who apply for 3 awards and they win 1. None of that is really what your focus should be on. It should be on the process and what you can learn from the process. So even if you don't win the award, you are a different person and you have gained important skills. So it's important to be willing to take that risk. Now, we have other presentations that really focus on awards, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. These are just, you know, some slides to put these names out there again, and also just to feature some of the students who I love so much, who have come through my office over the years, so that you can really see how many Mason students win these awards. We have a lot of awards that focus on international work, very broadly defined. So that could be foreign language fluency, that can be studying in a foreign country to get a master's degree in the case of the Gates, Cambridge, or Marshall, or it could be entry into the foreign service through the Wrangler, the Pickering programs. So if you're interested in international opportunities, this is just a sampling of those. And as I said, we have a separate presentation that really focuses specifically on those awards. Same with STEM fellowships, STEM awards, there's a variety of them, both for graduate and undergraduate students. The Goldwater Scholarship is one that is for current sophomores or juniors who are pursuing research careers in STEM fields. So you need a pretty high GPA to be considered for the Goldwater, and you need to have done some type of undergraduate research. And as everything is changing because of COVID, all of these funding organizations do have rules specifically to address the fact that we have had to be closed for many months and that not everybody's been able to access their laboratories for research. But the Goldwater is an opportunity to be recognized for doing that type of research. And we've had several winners in the past few years who have gone on to graduate school and done wonderful things. The UDAL is the top honor for rising for juniors, sophomores, and juniors who are interested in environmental science or environmental justice. Again, we can only nominate a certain number of students for that award, so we are constantly recruiting and trying to identify students for those opportunities. And then the NSF, the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship Program, or GRFP Fellowship, is available to rising seniors or current seniors who are planning to apply to graduate school this year, and current graduate students. That award has some very specific eligibility requirements. So if you're interested in that award, we would spend a lot of time making certain, 100% certain that you are eligible for that award. And as I said, we have specialized presentations and fellowships resources to really help you hone in on that award. So some final tips for applying for these awards. Visit the office virtually, stay in touch with us. If we know your interest and we know what you're trying to do, if opportunities come across our desk, we can let you know about those. You want to start early, so we cannot help anybody the night before a fellowship is due. That is not the way our office works. So it's important to really research these opportunities, understand what the process is, and begin early. Attend any of the info sessions that we offer. I have a listserv, we have a Twitter feed, we have an Instagram handle where we talk about all of the resources and opportunities. follow all application instructions and meet all deadlines. It is very important in this line of work and fellowships that you never miss a deadline. They will not make any exceptions. They will not change the rules. And so we have our internal processes are designed to make sure that all of our applicants can submit on time and be fully considered. So that is very important. And it's really important that you respect those deadlines and that you respect our internal deadlines in order for us to help serve you. You want to keep those close relationships with faculty. I've said that before, and I'll say it again here. It's really important. If faculty don't write strong letters of support for you, your application isn't really seriously considered. So it's very important that you maintain close relationships with your faculty. Again, writing several drafts of your essays, constant feedback from our office is really the way that you become a more competitive applicant. And, you know, our personal statement specialists are well trained and they know how to help you through each step of the process. And then finally, it's really important to say thank you. It's very, very critical that if a faculty writes a letter of recommendation for you, that you follow up with them with a quick note that says, "Dear Professor so-and-so, thank you so much for writing that letter for me. It really meant a lot to me. I appreciate it." Faculty know that writing letters of reference is part of their job, but it's a lot of work for them. In addition to teaching and doing research and their committee work, they might write 10 to 12 letters for one student. And if they have 10 or 15 students, that's a lot of letters. That's a lot of time at night and on weekends that they're choosing to support you and not spending time with family or friends or self-care or other things. So it's really, really important that you say thank you. For everything in our office, we recommend a minimum of 1 month's notice to faculty to be able to request letters of recommendation. So that is really important. It helps give them the lead time that they need to write a strong letter. And it also gives you enough time to follow up with that person to get the letter back. And so if a faculty member respects all those deadlines and writes you a really nice letter, it's important that you say thank you, and thank you to anybody else who supported you throughout the application process. So, you know, this is really the end of our presentation. This is another photo of a student who won many, many awards over his time at Mason. Including a Wrangell, a PPIA, which is a Public Policy and International Affairs Award, and ultimately a Fulbright ETA award to be in Germany. He just completed his master's degree from the Teachers College of Columbia University. So just many examples throughout this presentation of what Mason students are doing with awards and how they're making the world a better place through winning these awards. It's possible for these students, they did it, and I know that it's possible for you too. So I want you to be heartened and feel empowered that you can use our resources and the resources available through the funding agencies to apply for and be successful. So again, finally, to end, this is the contact information for the office. Please email pgfs@gmu.edu to get started. Please look at our Twitter feed. We put out information about events and activities. We're also on Instagram. That information is there. Please reach out to Christina Medlock. She can help you get started. I hope that you avail yourself and apply for external opportunities. And thank you very much for attending this presentation.